So you just got your DJI Mini 5 Pro and you think that you're going to fly this drone straight out of the box, right? Well, guess what? Unless you do 10 crucial things, you're not going to get the superior results that you're seeing on screen right now. From amazingly sweeping landscapes to smooth, professional-looking tracking shots, it's a game changer for any remote pilot. But there are 10 things that you must do before flight, and I'm going to tell you all the information that you need to know. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, the first thing, and before you do anything else, regardless of whether your drone is brand new or whether you've had it for some time now, you need to perform and complete firmware updates on your RC2 remote. This is very important, and a crucial mistake is not doing this. Don't just fly your drone right out of the box, because once you're out in the field, you won't be able to perform these firmware updates effectively. Keep in mind that both the remote and the drone have separate firmware updates, so you'll need to have both devices powered on. Skipping these updates will cause various flight issues, so this is what you need to do first. For those of you who have a brand new Mini 5 Pro straight out of the box, open up your DJI Fly app or power on your RC2 remote control without powering on your drone. Touch on the profile icon at the very bottom, and this will take you into a menu system, and notice that I am not currently logged in. This is because when you first get your remote out of the box, you have to connect it to Wi-Fi when you power it on. So how do we do that? Well, it's very simple. Go back to your main screen and pull down twice from the top of the screen to get into your menu system, where you can now set up your Wi-Fi. And once you're actually connected, there's a little Wi-Fi button you can see at the very top where you can touch it to turn Wi-Fi on or off. Now, at the very top right, you see that little cog icon. If you touch that, it will take you into your settings menu. That's where you want to be, because here at the very top, you will find network and internet. If you select that, you'll now be able to select your specific router or your Wi-Fi, and you can connect directly to it. And you notice that as soon as I connected to Wi-Fi, that my remote immediately prompted me to perform a new version update that's available. And if you skip this step by selecting not now, you may regret your decision once you get out in the field to try to fly your drone. And as you can see, this recent update is supporting the Mini 5 Pro as well as some other drones out there, but you'll need to select update in order to get past the screen. And once you do that, you will notice that it will be downloading the updates. Now, pay attention. It's only downloading the update. It's not actually installing it. We'll get to that later. Now, while it's downloading, let me say just a few words. The most important time to update your drone or your drones is now. The reason for that is because the firmware updates are currently available, and maybe after December 23rd of 2025, they may no longer be available. So you want to make sure that you're updating all of your drones now. In this video, I'm going to give you everything you need to know, step-by-step instructions, so you'll be able to accomplish that with every drone that you own. And granted, no one knows exactly what's going to happen with these firmware updates, but it's better to be safe than sorry, so do it now. And speaking of now, you see that the firmware has already downloaded, and now it's time to install the firmware by touching on Install Now. And while it's doing this, do not manually turn off your remote controller. It will automatically restart either your DJI Fly app or your RC2 remote, as it just did right now. And the reason that it's necessary to restart the remote controller is because it needs to reboot and reload the new firmware. And once this process is complete, then we're going to move to the third thing that you need to do before you actually fly. And that is to power on your Mini 5 Pro so we can install the firmware updates onto the drone. And once it's fully powered up, now you can touch on Connect to Aircraft and choose the DJI Mini 5 Pro from the list. But mine was already previously selected, so as soon as my drone powers up, it will automatically connect to my remote controller. Now, you might get this beginner screen. You can just go ahead and skip this if you don't want to go ahead with the beginner flight tutorial. But basically, what I'm trying to show you is the third thing you need to do, and that is to install the firmware updates onto your drone. And I know some of you are probably wondering, well, how is this firmware being installed onto the drone when there's no physical connection? And that's very easy for me to explain to you because it's using the same transmission that's allowing you to have the video feed back and forth, referring to OcuSync 4.0. And honestly, I always thought it was Bluetooth, but Bluetooth does not have the bandwidth to perform this function. So let me show you where to go. Click on the three dots on the top right to take you into your menu system of your remote controller. Notice at the very top, you'll see Safety, Control, Camera, Transmission, and About is where you need to go to so you can initiate the firmware update onto your aircraft. Remember that it's not just about updating the firmware on the remote, you need to update the firmware on the drone also. And I can see both the aircraft firmware and the RC firmware versions, and as you probably already guessed, I've already updated my firmware, so therefore I don't need to do anything else. Once I touch check for updates and I'm already connected to Wi-Fi, it's going to know whether I need a new version update or whether my firmware is already up to date. And you just saw that message, so go back to your home screen. Now let's move to number 4, which is the compass calibration for your remote control. So from the top of your screen, pull down once, pull down twice, and go to the top right and touch on the little gear icon. And now you're in your settings menu. So look to the very bottom and you'll see where it says compass calibration. This is a very important thing to do before you fly. So do you see what the diagram is telling you to do? That's all you have to do basically with your remote controller. And now you can start the calibration, do the same exact thing, and it is going to calibrate the compass for you. Once it has enough data, it will complete the calibration by letting you know that it's done. And most of you have probably never even done this, and you were wondering why it was that your maps on your display for east, west, north, and south were off. And there you go. Don't you think that this was important to know before you fly? Well, let's move to number 5, top of the screen, storage. And this is how we can format your external SD card. Now, if you go ahead and touch on Android, that's a 128 gigabyte, you will see it will take you now into a screen where you can format that SD card. It's a 128 gigabyte card that I have. I can just simply touch on format and you will see it will give you the option to format the card. It will take just a few moments, and then once it's complete, your SD card is ready for use. And this is an important step because you wouldn't want to put your drone up in the air without knowing full well that your SD card was formatted correctly. Number 6 is the compass calibration on your drone, and you access this by touching on the 3 dots on the top right. That will take you into your drone settings menu. Make sure that you've selected safety at the very top and scroll all the way up until you get to sensors. In your sensors menu, you will see that there is something that says compass normal. This is the compass calibration for your drone. So touch on calibrate, and now let's go ahead and start the process. The most important thing is to make sure that the drone is about 3 to 4 feet above the ground, and all you're going to do is hit the start button, and then you'll start spinning the drone around just like you see in the diagram. It's going to record the data from the 360-degree horizontal rotation, and then it will ask you to go vertical. You'll do the same exact thing 360 degrees vertical and wait for the calibration successful checkmark. Now let's move to number 7. Click the 3 dots on your top right to go into your IMU normal calibration. And I already know that some of you are asking, what exactly is IMU and what does it do? Well, I'm here to answer that for you. IMU stands for Inertial Measurement Unit, and it's one of the most critical components in your DJI Mini 5 Pro. Basically, what it is an internal brain that senses motion and orientation. It's linked to your accelerometers and your gyroscopes to detect how fast the drone is moving, how it will tilt, how it will pitch, how it rolls, how it yaws. It stabilizes the drone in flight so it will hover smoothly and respond accurately to your stick movements. The IMU data will also help to maintain stability even if your GPS signals are weak or temporarily lost. And one of the most relatable and critical things to know is that IMU is also responsible for the accuracy of your return to home and also obstacle avoidance prevention. And now that I've given you this information, it's clear exactly why it is that this is one of the 10 things that you must do before you fly. So the IMU calibration is very simple. What you'll need to do is to fold the arms of your drone. Keep the drone powered on. Just make sure that everything is folded. Be very careful when you're doing this because the slightest movement can throw everything way off. You'll need to make sure that you're on a level surface, and just in case the drone tips over, that it doesn't cause any damage. Now gently place the drone down on a flat surface exactly the way you see it in the diagram and touch on the start button. Now this could take from 5 to 10 minutes, but you'll be able to get through this quickly if you just follow the directions on screen. Do you see how it now flipped the drone over on the side? You will need to place the drone in exactly the same orientation or else the IMU calibration will not work. Now flip the drone on its back, the same exact way that you see it, and do it very gently and leave the drone until the calibration can be completed. The next IMU calibration will be to flip the drone on the other side. Leave it there gently and let it complete the calibration. Basically, you're just following exactly what it's doing on screen. And the last calibration will be to stand the drone vertically and just wait for the calibration to complete to 100%. Now, I know that a lot of you have never performed this calibration because you didn't know what it was and you never knew how important it actually is. A crucial thing to do before you fly. And now you see that the calibration has been completed and the drone will automatically restart itself and then send it back into the home page where you were originally before. See? Calibration successful. And notice at the very top, it's saying aircraft arms folded. Go ahead and unfold them. And let's move to number 8, which is to log into your DJI account. Now, once you extend the arms, that message at the top will change to account not logged in. And you can just touch on that for one of many ways that you can log into your account easily. Also, if you just pull down twice on the top screen, that will also take you to your login screen. But here, let's go ahead and touch on account not logged in and notice what happened. The flight checklist just came up telling me that I need to log into my account or the flight altitude and distance will be restricted. Do you see how this is one of the things that you need to do before you fly? So tap on the blue login icon and that's going to take you into the DJI login and register page. And all of this is pretty much self-explanatory. You won't have any problems after you log in and you will see that it will take you right back into your flight checklist and you won't see that login requirement anymore. Now let's talk about one of the best features on the DJI Mini 5 Pro, and that is advanced return to home. You're going to need to set this up before you take off. So go to safety in your RC2 remote and look for advanced RTH. Now you notice that mine is set to optimal, and I'll explain that. It's the same feature that's on my DJI Air 3S and my Mavic 4 Pro. This drone, as it's taking off and leaving the takeoff location, will create a real-time map of the exact route that it took from its launch point to its destination. And then when you hit return to home, it will utilize the map that it created to return to home in exactly the same manner as when it took off. Do you get this? If it took off and it flew out of your house through a window and then you hit the return to home, it's going to return to home and come back into the same window where it took off from. That is amazing. And this will work when you have advanced return to home set to optimal. Now, if you want the Mini 5 Pro to return to home based on what you have already preset, then this is very easy. All you have to do is just touch on the button that says preset. Make sure your settings don't go beyond FAA rules and regulations. No buildings, no trees, no bridges, and you'll be able to have the drone return to your preset coordinates. Now the last one, number 10, is about making sure that your home point is set. And in most cases, you really don't have to do anything because your RC2 remote controller is going to do it automatically with that pre-recorded voice that says home point updated. But here's the thing, it's not going to give you that pre-recorded voice message until you have all of your GPS locked and the GPS icon turns solid. So if you take off before you have your home point set, well, you might be landing somewhere else other than where you think you're going to be landing when you hit that return to home button. Always make sure that your home point is set. And now I'm going to show you where you can update that home point. Just make sure that you check your remote control and that you have GPS lock. So go to safety in your menu settings and look for where it says update home point. Once you touch on that, you'll be able to set and update your home point. But just remember, you won't be able to update it unless you have GPS lock, and also your drone must be actively in flight. And on that note, I've got to go put this Mini 5 Pro up in the air. So y'all leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will see you all on the next one.